Well, my mom would say I started when I was 3, so I guess I've been an urban farmer since I was 3 years old, when she couldn't get me back inside to do anything other than be in the garden and grow some peas. But more recently, 9/11 was a big eye-opener for me, my wife. That was the first time we had bought a house together, and food security didn't seem to feel very secure. You know, we didn't feel safe with our food supply. You know, the trucking stopped, the shipping stopped, the prices went up like crazy. It was rough, and so we started growing food in our own landscape.
And so I was introduced to it by my grandparents and reintroduced to it by some of the great people in this community. We were looking for a way to actually provide community development. We grew a little backyard community garden. We noticed that people of all ethnicities came to that garden. So it initially did something that we wanted to intentionally accomplish, which is bring people together.
Well, first of all, you're calling it urban farming, I'm calling it a farmer. Okay, I was born a farmer, my father was a farmer. My son and I rolled up our sleeves, and there was nothing here when we started 2003. Look, in the middle of the desert, by a freeway. This farm is really to show that a piece of land that was really not used for much because it was caliche, non-productive, can be brought back to life using what's called the soil food web, the carbon cycle. You can refer to it as composting. What I'm trying to create here is an environment that's healthy, vibrant. Therefore, what it produces is healthy and vibrant. And other than that, there's no great thought.
Well, urban farming to me means bringing the proximity of the freshest vegetables closer to the people that actually need it or want it. And so we're decreasing those distances, we're making it more accessible to pretty much everybody. So it's the absolute freshest produce that you can ever have.
You say urban, like it goes back to how much land is available. You realize when you're farming, the bigger the piece, the easier to farm because you have more mass. If you're in little areas, you're gonna have to do a lot of handwork. This farm is mostly handwork. Now, if I had thousands of acres, I could farm a lot just as easy as handwork.
As we speak, there is an apartment complex behind us. There are probably maybe 30, 40 cars, although there's 137 units in that apartment complex, which speaks to accessibility. Most of those people would have to hop on a bus to actually travel, to actually go further away from their community to buy produce that typically, because it was shipped in from someplace else, would be more expensive. So these types of gardens bring more reason back to being able to eat nutritious. It also has to make sense. And so therefore these gardens very close to the urban community gives people an opportunity to eat more nutritious while working in those gardens, have that same camaraderie.
Well, big challenging part is often dealing with the cities, the municipalities. It's kind of like, it's new for them. But we just say, come over to my house and check it out. You know, if you don't like the way it looks, then we'll change it. But most of the time they come out here and they say, this looks great. And then they hear how much it produces, and we can outproduce any farmer on an acre. It really develops a whole new way of looking at stuff.
So what's going to happen in the future? I can say that I work with cities, I work with the counties, I work with Tampico, and their minds are now changing because their open areas now are not only valuable for future development, but in the meantime can create green space, more oxygen, somewhere for folks to go to get out of the high rises and the hustle and bustle. And hopefully that would encourage young people to go back to farming in the cities if the land is available.
If you're looking for a more active lifestyle, what a fantastic way to do this through urban gardening or community gardening. It's a fantastic way to actually approach better health, better lifestyle choices.
People's hearts are leaning towards urban farming. What I would say to those people is follow it, trust it, and look at the income that you might want to make and reverse engineer it. Find some people like us, like me, like some of the others out there that have reverse engineered the opportunity of making a great living into a space that they really love. You got to be a little courageous in that space though, right? It's like you got to be willing to look like the farm guy, but revered as a doctor. And that's how we live.